got a fairly lengthy closed session. So let me go around the room. Andrew, are you here?
Here.
Rita.
I'm here.
David Kwan.
Here.
Is that me? Drew Howard? I'm present.
Eshvar.
I'm here.
Dick.
Yes.
Franco.
Yep.
And Dave Wilson.
I am here.
Okay, Linda, what's the protocol? Do we want to go directly into closed session?
Yes, please.
All right, go ahead. Let's do that. And Linda, I will be able to drive the screen, right?
Yes, you will be made host.
Great. Thank you. All right, we'll wait for that invite to come across. sorry, board, I was on mute when I was just blathering away there. We only have one report out of closed session. Obviously, we gathered input from all the trustees about the performance reviews that we'll do at the end of this month for Roberto and Prabhu, and the board moved and approved unanimously that I be authorized to be the labor negotiator, in other words, to sit in and actually do the performance review for Roberto. And similarly, Eshvar was approved as labor negotiator, work with his counterpart, Anurag, on the federated side to sit in and perform, along with Roberto, the performance review for Prabhu. Let's.
Mr. Chairman, if I can just flesh.
Harvey, if that was wrong, just correct it.
Those actions were approved on a motion that was made by Chair Alonso and seconded by Member Santos, and it was a 9-0 unanimous vote to appoint those two positions as labor negotiators to negotiate over compensation with the CEO and the CIO. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, great. And as Harvey told us in the closed session, we didn't talk about any salaries. We were just gathering the qualitative information about their performance. And next month, after we've sat and discussed the qualitative aspects of the performance with them, then next month we will, along with Federated, go back and forth and pick a recommendation for any potential salary increase or bonus. We've already done the roll call. We are all here. We've done the closed session. We have orders of the day. In general, you know, if we have to go round robin, you'll sort of sense that and we'll do it. But in general, for most things, the floor is open. If you want to interrupt the speaker to ask a temporal question, feel free to do it. Half the questions are best asked in the moment, and half are best asked when the thing is done. So we've shown we have very good Zoom etiquette. So I think we can keep it pretty open. Under orders of the day, we only have one thing to wave sunshine on. It's item 4B. We always do this. This is AB 361. The floor is open to entertain a motion to wave sunshine on item 4B.
So moved by Santos.
A motion by Santos. Do I have a second?
Second, Gardner.
I have a motion by Santos, second by Gardner. Let's go around. Andrew.
Aye.
Sunita.
Aye.
David Kwan.
Aye.
Howard.
Yes.
Eshvar.
Aye.
Dick.
Yes.
Franco.
Aye.
Dave Wilson.
Aye.
And I'm Chair Lanza. I vote aye as well. Floor is open in general at the beginning and the end of the meeting. Public wants to say
Yeah,
anything?
Drew, can we have
okay.
about 5 minutes? I gotta go to the bathroom.
Okay. Dick, you know what, everybody, let's take a 5-minute break. It's a quarter till. Let's meet back at 10 to 11. The floor is open. If any members of the public would like to make any comments, raise your hand. Staff and I will look. Don't see any. If I missed you, jump in. Once, going twice. All right, on to the calendar. Is there anything anybody wants to pull off the consent calendar? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent calendar.
So move, Santos.
Santos, do I have a second?
Second by
Second, Will.
I'll take that as a second by Wilson, who is down to the wire. Andrew,
Aye.
Ita,
Aye.
Juan,
Aye.
E,
Yes.
R. Is Shari out there? That's fine. Dick,
Yes.
Franco, Dave.
Franco's next to me. He says aye. Aye.
Okay, and Davis and I'm Chair Lanza. I vote aye as well. That brings us, welcome home. Are you home now, Peru? Are you still in India?
I am back here in the office.
All right, well, welcome home. I hope your family is all safe and sound. Over to you, Peru.
All right, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, trustees, staff, consultants, members of the public. It's going to be a very short investment session this morning. We'll have more detailed investment reports in the next couple of months. I do want to share some numbers with the board. As always, these are estimates. These are not final and these are not audited, but give a sense for how we've done in the last fiscal year. So according to Makita's estimates, last fiscal year, the pension plan was down 5% and healthcare trust was down 9.5%. And if you recall, the previous year, the pension plan was up over 25%. So you're going to have some up years and some down years. Thankfully, on the downside, it was somewhat mitigated thanks to managing a diversified portfolio. And there continue to be issues in the market, in the economy. We've certainly had a tough 6 months, and we still have issues around inflation, geopolitical risks, the Fed stance, corporate earnings, and so on. Assets are certainly cheaper now than they were 6 months ago. So hopefully the market will settle down and we'll have some clarity in the next 6 months. But my crystal ball is not any clearer than anybody else's. But all I can say is that assets are cheaper. We have a better handle on what the Fed is trying to do. It's hard to predict what's been priced in and what's not. But as always, we are long-term investors. We have to keep our focus on that. And the most important thing that we can do for our plan is to come up with the right level of risk, and which we've worked hard to come up with that number, and we hold on to that risk level, and then we optimize our portfolio based on that risk level. The good news is that I shared numbers for last fiscal year. July was a strong month. And as of yesterday, the pension plan was up 3.56%, and healthcare trust was up 4%. So 80% of what we lost in the last fiscal year, we recouped 80% of it just in July. So, and that's just the nature of the markets. And again, these are estimates from Makita. There's one more thing I want to share with the board, and that is the city's pre-funding. So the city elected to pre-fund its contributions for this current fiscal year. And on July 1st, we received 2 wires from the city for the pension plan of about 190 million and healthcare trusts about 28 million. So a total of 218 million, which we went ahead and deployed according to our strategic asset allocation. I'll actually invite Jay to give a very brief overview on how we deployed those assets. And with that, over to Jaquan. And after that, I'm happy to take any questions.
Good morning. I'll put up something on the screen and be super brief. Hopefully you can see the blue chart I have up here. It'll help make comments it'll put the comments in context. So as probably noted, when the city chooses to pre-fund, the plan has a relatively large amount of trading condensed into a tight window. So, if you're looking at the June 30th time period, we had the end of year coincided with the end of the fiscal year, rebalances going into the end of June. And then on July 1st, we had pre-funding where we put the sponsor's contribution to work. And so I'm going to talk specifically about pre-funding here. Probably noted that the check we got for the PNF pension was about $190 million. So normally we would take that money and spread it out across the asset allocation, right? Give each asset class their pro rata slice of capital, and thereby we would keep the plan near its strategic asset allocation targets. It was a little bit more complicated this year because of the increase in the immunized net cash flow strategy. And that's a line in the middle of the page. So remember, the immunized net cash flow strategy, or I'll just call it INCF, is where the plan sets aside the next 5 years of net cash outflows. And we take that money and we invest it in a laddered treasury portfolio. You can call it front-end LDI or cash flow matched bond portfolio. I think of it as a short duration risk-free portfolio, right? So we have this pool of money, and then every month we draw from the INCF to help pay the monthly beneficiary payment. So this allocation amortizes, or it gets smaller over time. So basically, you can think of it as the plan's piggy bank that helps us avoid having to potentially sell assets or risk assets in dislocated markets to simply to fund benefit payments, right? We have this INCF that we draw from instead. So the way we determine how large the INCF needs to be is to look at the plan's projected net cash outflows as supplied by Chiron, right? So they're crunching the numbers and they're looking at what are the beneficiary payments going out and what are the projected contributions coming in. So that's how we got the name. It's immunized net cash flows. We named it after what it's supposed to do. Now, this might seem like long ago, but as probably just noted, the plan returns post-COVID were very strong. We had a 26% return for fiscal year ending June 2021. It was great for the market value and the funded status of the plan, but it had a kind of perverse effect on the net cash flows because the outperformance that year basically netted against past years of underperformance, right? And those two things together reduced the sponsor's UAL payments. So going back to the definition of net cash flows, we have the same beneficiary payments going out. Those are unchanged by the market, right? So the beneficiary payments are going out monthly, but we have fewer contributions coming in because the UAL payments are smaller. So in net cash flow terms, the net cash flow it become more negative, right? So more cash going out every month means we need to set aside more of the plan as that piggy bank. So as you can see, again, in the middle of the chart, we had to increase the size of the immunized net cash flow allocation to just over 10% of the plan. And so there were a couple ways to increase the immunized net cash flow allocation. We could have taken a bit of capital from every other asset class pro rata, or taken the money from the things in the plan that were financially most similar. So we discussed this at the last special IC meeting with the trustees there. And as you can see, we ended up doing the latter, right? We funded the increase in the INCF by drawing down the cash allocation. So that's basically the columns in the chart. The first column of numbers gives you the strategic asset allocation weights. The second column, labeled 630, gives you the end of quarter, which is also the end of the fiscal year weights. And then the third column shows after receiving that the check from the sponsor on 7/1, what the plan weights look like. And then you can look at those second and third columns relative to the first SAA target weights. So you see, though, that the increase in the INCF takes it out of tolerance for our IPS. Remember, the the investment policy statement mandates that we keep asset classes within plus or minus 10% of their target weight. So at some point, we'll be coming back to the board and asking for a waiver on that particular restriction for things like the INCF and then the funding sources for that, in this case, cash. So I'll have more on the INCF at the upcoming IC meeting. And if that doesn't make you want to tune into that, I don't know what will. So if you have any questions, I'll take them now. Otherwise, again, more to come at the IC meeting.
Any questions for Jay? You're right, Jay. That was absolutely riveting.
Yeah. Great. Thanks.
That and Jay totally made sense. Any questions for Prabhu? Going once, going twice. All right, as you recall, for the last couple of months, we've been in process on two service members retired who committed felonies. So item 3A regards the first member, Gallagher, and item 3B regards the second member, Williams. So over to you, Maytak, for 3A.
Sure, thank you, Chair Lanza. So relating to item 4A, 3A, I'm sorry. We have a report out of closed session from the May 5th, 2020 board meeting. So here's a readout from our closed session. Effective July 7th, 2022, the plan and the member, Stephen Gallagher, entered into a written settlement agreement regarding action to be taken due to the member's conviction of a felony in 2005. The agreement essentially provides for the member's current monthly allowance to be reduced for the rest of his life by 10% based on the facts and circumstances presented to the board at the May meeting. The member has also waived and released any and all claims against the plan arising out of the board's action taken under the municipal code. So that relates to the closed session held in May of 2020 that this board had in the report out regarding the settlement terms.
So that's all we need to do for that, Maytak?
Yes, unless there's any comments or from the public or the board members.
Great. Any comments or questions on 3A? I found Maytak, over to you for 3B.
Sure. So we also had a member, Kenneth Williams, also agendized at the May 5th, 2020 board meeting. And at the May 2020 board meeting, as this board recalls, the member had requested a continuance of the matter due to scheduling issues, following which the board granted. Following that meeting, I have met and conferred with the member's counsel and have provided a notice that we were going to hear his case today on August 4th, 2022, which is agreed upon date between member's counsel and the board. However, yesterday I received notice from the member's counsel that he again is requesting a continuance and again citing scheduling conflicts. And I recommend that the board continue and defer this matter to a later meeting in light of the member's request. Now, I want to note for the record that the board has made every effort to accommodate Mr. Williams and his counsel, despite our numerous advance notices to him and his counsel regarding the agendized matter. Any delay in hearing this matter is due to the member's conduct and not of the board. Thank you.
So, setting off any alarm bells with you, Maytak, or it's just one of those procrastination things?
You know, it's really hard to say. I do think that we should extend the courtesy of giving a extension this time around, and we will try to work with the member and his counsel to secure a date for certain where we will hear this matter.
Thanks, Maytak. Floor is open. Any comments or questions?
Mr. Chair, this would be a comment for Maytag. It's my understanding in our discussion that when it comes to 3A, that 10% goes back into the retirement system. Is that correct?
I'm sorry, say the question one more time.
On 3A, the 10% funding goes back into the retirement system.
That's correct. So
Thank
from
you.
moving forward, when we issue his payments, that 10% would remain in the system.
That's what members are requesting. Thank you.
Any other questions? If not, 4A, over to you, Roberto.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just a couple of things. First, if you have had a chance to look at the agenda, where the top of the agenda includes all of the board members' names and their time, the term for the board, we actually have 4 positions coming up this November, 4 positions out of the 9 that are coming up soon enough for renewal. So that will mean that those 4 trustees, if they desire to continue the trusteeship of the plan, they will have to file an application. And unfortunately, it is a pretty straightforward process as in the past. In other words, just because you're a member today doesn't mean that the application process is going to be shorter than when you did the first time. It's basically the same process. And I know the chair will be probably reaching out to each one of you. And if you are desired to file an application to request another 4-year term, let us know, and we'll make sure to forward you the link to the recruitment that is posted at the City Clerk website so that you can get an application and kick off the process. So again, 4 of those positions are coming up. 3 are from public members, and 1 is a retiree seat. They're coming up again November of 2022.
Through the chair, Roberto, don't you have to file, isn't it like August 25th or some kind of date?
That's a good question. I'm not aware of it. It may be a little different, Dick, for the retiree position in the event that someone else apply and there's some sort of a process that they have to be an election. For the public members, as you know, there is no election and they just have to go to an interview with the city council. So I will have to look at the details and get back to you. So I appreciate the question.
In fact, if it wasn't for you, we'd have missed the date last time because of the city clerk's office. So I'd like to find out because I believe it was August 25th. And thanks to you, we were given the information. The city clerk's office was wrong at the time.
We'll follow up on it. And I want to make sure I know in the background, Linda, who really helps me to this process, is taking notes to make sure that we actually reach out to the city clerk. So we'll get back to you, Dick.
Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. I also wanted to inform the board and congratulations to our, our staff of the Office of Retirement Services, and in particular, the accounting group, for receiving their Police and Fire Certificate of Achievement of Excellence in Financial Reporting for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2021, for the comprehensive annual report. We have been receiving the certificate for straight now for over 20 years, and it's a lot of work. So again, thank you to the staff that was involved in this process, and that includes everyone in the office, from benefits to administration to IT and to investments, and of course the accounting group who actually puts the information together. So congratulations to everyone. And staying with the accounting group, I wanted to let you know that we welcome a new accounting clerk, Chris Reyes. He is worked diligently on a lot of issues at accounting, including the payroll for the retirees and the payroll for the office staff at ORS. So Chris, thank you so much for working on that every bi-weekly. We are also working on the benefits in quite a few recruitments. They are at different stages of the process, but we are in the final stage for 2 benefits senior analyst positions that we're interviewing. And we also kick off the process for the 3 new positions that were approved as part of the administrative budget for this current fiscal year. And those are benefit analyst, senior benefit analyst, and a senior supervisor in the benefit section. I also wanted to share with you that the city extended their masking until Friday, August 26th. I attended my weekly senior staff meeting with the city yesterday, and they also expressed their desire to make sure that to the extent possible, and so long as the proclamation from the state and the governor to allow for remote meetings continue, that they are really encouraging boards and commissions to continue having their meetings remotely as long as possible. We could kick off a hybrid process, meaning a joint attendance of people physically and remotely, but at this point, the boards have elected to continue their full remote process. And so we will continue to do that so long as the proclamation stay in place and you continue approving AB 361. But I will keep you posted on any changes on that. I just want to let you know that the office, we actually had our summer picnic. That was last June. It was after your last board meeting in June. That's what you hear from it now. It was well attended. It was really, really nice to see some staff that I haven't seen in some time, because when we come to the office, many times we sort of staff comes at similar dates. So if I'm in a process that I usually come on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I mostly see staff that comes those days. So I was able to see some staff that I haven't seen in person in quite some time. So again, kudos to the committee and the staff that work on putting together the summer picnic, including a very, very, very nice and healthy barbecue that was actually mostly put together by and cooked by the husband of one of our retirees that is back to work. Lastly, I wanted to mention to you a couple of things. The Retirement Connection newsletter, which you get a copy of, went out last month, and I think staff is doing an excellent job. So kudos to our communication consultant working obviously with Barbara and Linda on the newsletter, keeping our members apprised. We will be closed. The office will be closed September 5th in observance of Labor Day. And the last item I was going to mention, but Prabhu did an excellent job, and so obviously did our senior investment officer, Jay Kwan, on providing detail on the city pre-funding and the deployment of those assets. So that concludes my comments, Mr. Chair. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Floor is open. Any questions for Roberto? Going once, going twice. Pam, if you're on, over to you.
I am. Welcome back to, in August, we had July was completely off, so I really don't have a report other than we're starting up city council meetings on the 9th. And it looks like we're going to have a busy agenda through the end of the year, as we typically do. So I don't really have any nothing to report on until hopefully next meeting. I'll have something relevant to say about what we're up to at City Hall.
Thanks, Pam. Floor is open. Any questions for our friend Pam? If not, we'll move on to item 4C, which is mine. So the trustees know we just came out of a closed session where we implemented our part of the new performance, the updated performance review system, gathering input. So I wrote this memo, kind of a space and time memo, right? Let's go up to 100,000 feet and look at where we are. There are two multi-year arcs. ARC, not the one full of animals that Moses and his wife piloted. And I want to make sure we're sort of aware of these arcs. We are nearing the end of one arc that started about 15 years ago, and we're about to start on another 5 or 10 year arc. So the arc started by, I think it was 2008, when the city said, hey, you know what? All we have on this board are employees and council members, and the job of the board is to manage money. Maybe we want to get some investment professionals on. I was in that inaugural class along with Vincent Seri, and about 10.5 years ago, we made a strategic decision to bring on staff to add alpha. We think we've done that. And in fact, as part of this ongoing arc, we're going to start reporting out on that. So along the way on that arc, about 5 years ago, Vince and I launched Measure G. There was a disconnect where while we were on the board and we were responsible for managing it, Roberto and Prabhu, our CEO and CIO, still reported to the city manager. And so with the city manager's help and the mayor and city council, everybody was on board, we said, no, they're going to report to us. And there's some other little factors in there. So this arc ends. It started with us coming on board. Then in the midpoint, we gained more autonomy over the staff. And now the arc is going to come to an end with two final actions. One you saw this morning, and we'll report out more on this next month. And that is a very professional, very detailed performance review system. Part of that is to run our system as professionally as we can. Part of it also is so the city can look into that, pieces of it, and say, good, you're under control. We're very comfortable having delegated this to you. There's a second piece of this long arc, which we are now out with the consultant McCloggin doing, and that is incentive compensation for our chief investment officer and his IOs, his investment officers. We will report out what we're pretty sure to be true, and that is that the thesis that Vince Zanzari had 10 years ago is proving to be true. That even though we're a small pension fund relative to other pension funds in California, we are big enough that if I have a staff of 6 or 10 professionals, they can add returns, add value to the system far in excess of their salaries. We believe that to be true. We'll dig into numbers, we'll report that out. Therefore, it makes sense to have these young professionals. And if it makes sense to have them, then it makes sense to train them and retain them. And if it makes sense to train them and retain them, then it makes sense to be competitive with other public pensions and private pensions who hire people like this. And competitive means incentive compensation systems. We have no idea if the city will go for this. Governments in California are inherently very socialist, and they tend to frown upon paying for performance, at least in the financial sector. But all we can do is try. And I have confidence that this board and this staff will put forward something to the city that they will take seriously and with any luck approve. That will then end the arc that started 15 years ago. Let's bring in investment professionals. Investment professionals say, let's have a staff to add alpha. Now we have a way to keep that staff stable. They are generating alpha, and we're good. There's a second arc that's coming, and it's a deeply personal arc. In case you haven't noticed, I'm not a spring chicken. Neither is my friend Harvey, nor is my friend Roberto or Prabhu. So the second arc, which will start, I don't know, a couple of years, is I'm going to eventually get off the board. I assume Harvey's going to retire to Jamaica. And of course, Roberto and Prabhu at some point in time will retire as well. And so the next arc, which the JPC will take up probably early next year, is generational transition. And when you have a board where the CEO, the CIO, and the chairman and chief counsel are all talking about retiring in the next 5-10 years, you should grab the wheel of that car and steer it very carefully. So I don't have any more to report on that. I don't know when people are going to retire. I've committed to stay on this board until the police and fire pension is 100% funded, but that's kind of in sight now. And Vince, unfortunately, had made the same commitment to stay until his employer told him he couldn't stay anymore. So these long arcs are going, and I want the board to be aware of the strategic nature of these two long arcs, and thus the memo that I put out. And hopefully Pam's listening, and hopefully Jennifer, hi Jennifer, Cheryl, hopefully you're listening too, are aware of these changes coming, and therefore like any storm, if you see it coming 2 days away, you can get ready for it. And it's not a storm afterwards, just rain, and plants love that. Any questions for me or Harvey or Roberto or Prabhu? If not, on to 4D. Is that you, Roberto? 4D?
Yes, it's our office. It's a request to reallocate some funds to allow us to, work with the budget. But I'll turn it over to Benji, who I was going to present it. And Benji said, no, I cannot wait to speak to the board. I haven't spoken to them in a while, and I would love the chance to do so. So with that, I'll turn it over to Benji. Benji, how are you? Welcome.
Well, Benji's just jealous because Jay was able to give us such a riveting thing that she wants her shot at the brass
That's
ring.
exactly right.
No, not quite, but I will present it anyway. So there are 4 categories of the administrative budget that the board approves: the personnel category, the non-professional/equipment category, the professional services category, and the medical services category. This memo is pretty self-explanatory, but basically the professional services category of the budget will be exceeded by approximately $45,000 for the past fiscal year. However, the total administrative budget will not be exceeded. And there are a few reasons for the excess amounts as outlined in the memo. Legal services were exceeded because of the forfeiture felony matters. Temporary services were exceeded because of the staff vacancies, and actuarial services was exceeded because of the actuarial audit this past year. In the past, when line items were over, there were other line items that were able to absorb it and keep the category below the budget. This year, the excesses were too much to do that. So there are 2 options that the board can take. We either leave it the way it is with the professional category being exceeded and the total admin budget is still under budget, or we can reallocate the amounts for the categories as stated in the memo. With the reallocation, there's no impact on the total budget. It will really be just in the presentation of the actual versus budget in the annual financial report and the budget reports. So, do you have any questions?
Floor is open. Any questions for Benji? Do we need a vote on this, Roberto?
Yes, if you could make a motion to approve the request by staff to reallocate the funds, that would be great. Correct, Benji?
Correct, or like I said, we can just leave it the way it is. And, this is we really just wanted to make sure that the board was aware that it would be exceeded if we did leave it the way it is.
So moved by Santos.
Oops, I have a motion by Santos, so a second.
This is Wilson.
I'm sorry, just for clarification of the record here. So Trustee Santos, you're moving to accept the recommendation of staff?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you.
A motion by Santos, second by Wilson. Let's go around. Andrew.
Aye.
Rita.
Aye.
David Kwan.
Aye.
Howard.
Yes.
Ashvar.
Aye.
Dick.
Yes.
Franco.
Aye.
Dave Wilson.
Aye.
And Chair Lanza, I vote aye as well. Is Chiron ready to go, Roberto? Are they here?
Yes, Bill.
Yes, I'm on.
Yeah,
Oh,
he's
hi, Bill.
on, and he's been actually emailing me for 2 months now, pleading to speak to your board because he loved presenting actual results to the police and fire. And I said, Bill, unfortunately, we don't meet in June, July, but we'll get you in August. And with that, I'll turn it over to Bill. Welcome, Bill. Good to see you.
Yeah, good to see all of you. So hopefully you're seeing my screen here. We just wanted to, for this meeting, just get some updated projections out there. A year ago, we had some great investment returns that really changed the scenario of our projections. And this last year, we've had some negative returns. And so we wanted to give you an idea of where those are putting our projections. These are still very much preliminary numbers, and so they'll change, but the idea is to get your thinking kind of in the right ballpark for these projections. So last year, after the 2021 returns, based on the market value of assets, the pension fund increased from 71% funded to 87% funded. And we were projecting it to reach 89% funded this year. The OPEB is much smaller in terms of the assets and liabilities, but it was only 31% funded in 2020, increased to 40%, and we were projecting it to continue to increase to 43%. But with the preliminary returns, and we did this with a minus 5.3 for the pension and a minus 10.8 for the OPEB. I know refinements are coming in, but based on the market value, the pension funded status would drop to 79% and OPEB to 36%. And that assumes all our assumptions remain the same and that all of the liability experience was the same. And so we know there will be some adjustments to that as well. Now, the contributions are not based on the market value of assets. They're based on the actuarial value, which smooths out the returns over a 5-year period. And so we show the investment gains and losses here. Back in 2018, we were almost right on the money, so you can't hardly see it. But in 2019 and 2020, we had some small losses, then the large gain in 2021, and the loss in 2022. In recognizing those over 5 years, now the 2019 has been 80% recognized, 2020 60%, and this year we will recognize another big chunk of the investment gains, so that it's the 2021 gains are 40% recognized, and we're only going to recognize 20% of the investment losses. So if you add up all the deferred pieces that we have not recognized, there's about 520 million in deferred losses and about 476 million in deferred gains. And so for the pension, the market value and the actuarial value will be very close at about 4.5 billion this year. And so while the plan's funded ratio on a market value basis is, we're estimating, will decline from 87 to 79%, on the actuarial value basis, it'll actually increase from 77% last year to around 80% this year. And that shows you that the unfunded liability is about 1.1 or 1.2 billion, depending on the basis. So how does that boil down in terms of contributions? We're still expecting the city's contribution for the pension to go down from what it is the current year, down from 212 to 204 or 205. That's higher than we projected last year. We were projecting it to drop all the way to 194, but it is still going down. If we looked at the OPEB, it is staying pretty much on track with what we had expected. And that's just because it's much smaller and not as well funded. So in combination, we're still expecting the city's total contribution to go down, just not as low as it was projected last year. And if you look longer, the teal color is our 2020 projection. And then with the good returns from 2021, we had this dark blue projection. So now our preliminary projection falls somewhere in between those two numbers. So in the near term, we're expecting the contribution rate to hold fairly steady for the next few years. There is a bump up after we've recognized the 2021 gains and then have one chunk of the 2022 losses to recognize. And so we may talk to you about that bump up and what we can do about it if we want to do anything about it. But that's where the pension projections look. If we combine the OPEB in, the story is pretty similar. So that's all we wanted to cover today. So I'd take any questions people may have.
Floor is open. Anybody have anything for Bill?
Going to compliment you. Really nice presentation. Thank you. Very clear.
Anything else for Bill? We're going to see you next month with a bunch more, right, Bill?
Yeah, next month we want to come back and fulfill one of the audit recommendations, and then piggybacking on that, reviewing the funding methods that we're using. So the asset smoothing and the amortization in particular.
Great.
And after that, you'll come back in October and kick off the annual process, right? So you'll probably be speaking to the board for the next 5 or 6 months in a row.
Yeah, you'll see a lot of me in the coming months.
Oh, we love you, Bill. So that sounds like fun to me.
And I just wanted to, Mr. Chair, if you allow me just 30 seconds to those trustees, especially David, who is new. Obviously, he has a lot of investment background, but all the trustees that don't have a lot of actuarial background, and happy to schedule a very short training if you feel that it will be helpful in anticipation of having Bill coming before your board for the next 5 or 6 months in a row. I mean, Bill does an excellent job being very basic and making sure that he tried to bring everyone up to date. But obviously, there's a range of knowledge from the actuarial standpoint at the board, and I want to make sure that if there's any particular basic knowledge that is being sought out by any trustees, we'll try to be as helpful as we can to do that. Thank you.
This is Dave. Just a quick comment here. I think I understand most of the information that was presented, but it'll probably be still nice to get some information from Chiron, you know, maybe based on some of the assumptions that went into this. That'll be nice to have just for bedtime reading.
Next month, we will plan to go a little bit more in depth on the funding methods and what's kind of behind that, so that we give you kind of a baseline educational piece before we make you make decisions about any changes. So hopefully that will help, but we're also very willing to provide additional information and background and education.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Bill? If not, we're on to item 4F, committee assignments. This is, I just put this on the agenda. So Sunita's been enormously patient, waiting her turn. The whole reason she's here to sit on the investment, because the whole reason her expertise is needed on the board. We love you just for you, Sunita. To be on the investment committee, and she's very patient while I extended my stay a year while we really locked down the venture capital, private equity part of the portfolio. So I'm ready to get off, and Sunita's going to take my seat. And then a year from now, Howard, also from the VC committee, will get off, and David Kwan will take his seat, probably at the June 23 board meeting. So in order to make that change, we need to vote. So I will move that I step down from the investment committee and Sunita step up, take my seat. Is there a second for that motion?
Second by Santos.
Great. Motion by Lanza, second by Santos. Let's go around. Andrew.
Aye.
Sunita.
Oh, I just want to say thank you. I'm honored. Aye.
Yeah, it's as I used to tell my kids when they're in college, don't screw up.
I thought I made your life miserable. That's why you put me on the committee.
No. It's actually really interesting, Sunita. When David then comes on, we're probably gonna have the highest power investment committee I think we've ever had. So I'm actually really excited about having you and Eshvar and David on that committee. I think once when Vince was on, we had, I think, 3 people of your caliber, but only for like a year. Sunita, how do you vote?
Aye.
Good Kwan.
I vote yes, but let's not set the bar too high. Let's keep the expectation low.
No pressure, right? Howard.
Yes.
Bar.
Yeah, so thank you, Drew, for being on the committee, and we'll stay in touch with you, even though you're not going to be on the committee. And welcome, Sunita, and it's a yes vote. Thank you.
And just as a brief aside, Prabhu has been concerned about losing that private equity expertise, and so Eshvar and Howard and Prabhu and Harvey and I are all putting our heads together. And Harvey suggests a couple ways we can keep that expertise without having to pass it through the investment committee. We'll report on that. A couple of months, we figure out the best way to do it. Dick.
Yes.
Franco.
Aye.
Dick. Dave, sorry.
Aye.
And I'm Chair Lanza. I vote as well. I will say, so I was sort of a pinch hitter. I think I've been on the investment committee like 4 or 5 times now. I never stay on long because I really don't know anything about public finance. So you're going to have a lot of fun. It's a great committee, Sunita. You're going to really enjoy being on it.
I'm looking forward. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hey, Drew, it's Andrew. Back to the committee assignments. That puts Sunita on 3 with her chairing one of them. Sunita, is there a bandwidth issue there by any chance, or are you okay?
Does David want to step into governance?
And we could bring this. I mean, we could bring this up next month. But I was just looking at this and noticed that she's now on 3, and so we could revisit it next month. But
so you give up one of the 2. Which would you prefer to give up?
It doesn't matter. I'm okay with either.
All right. Yeah, Andrew, let's put our heads together and we'll reach out to you on David Kwan and figure out how to handle this.
Sounds good. Thanks.
That's Andrew. I think that's it. Over to you for 4G. That looks like you, right, Roberto? Are you on mute, Roberto?
Yes, I thought I hit the button, but apparently I missed it. Thank you, Mr. Chair. So, as you know, there is a scheduled annual meeting, joint meeting with the boards and the city council. And right now, you should have received a save the date from staff. Is that right, Linda?
Yes.
As to the next meeting right now, tentatively is October 17. At this point, I believe the meeting should take place in the afternoon and should be remotely. And so what we are trying to ask you board this morning is any topics of discussion that you would like to bring forward for discussion with the city council. In an attempt to aid you on determining what topics, I asked staff to include the last 2 agendas that you have with the city council from 2020 and 2021. 2020 was more of a somewhat of educational as to what we do as a board, staff, actuarial investments, and everything else. 21 was a little more specifically related to the consideration by the city of whether or not they were going to be issuing a POB. So those are the last 2 agendas that we have had with the city council and the boards. And so with that, I know Cheryl is in attendance at the meeting as well, Cheryl Department from the city. So I'll just turn it over to you, Mr. Chair, and the board for any questions or comments or suggestions as to what potential topics of discussion you would like to add to that meeting in October with the City Council.
I'll go ahead and go first, and then we'll open the floor. You know, I'd love to do the incentive compensation system, but I can tell you right now, Roberto, it won't be ready by then. So that will not be there. You know what I'd love to do, if it's not too politically fraught, I'd love to do a post-mortem on the pension obligation bonds. I don't think we as a team, the city, us, handled that well. Certainly in hindsight, I'm guessing it would have been really smart to do them because rates have gone up. We could have locked in a lower rate. I'd love to see maybe our staff, or maybe we can work with city staff, put together a little presentation to say to the future board and the future city, looking back, I know Cheryl did a great job driving that, but we never quite consummated that marriage. And that I'd love to talk about it. If you don't think it's too politically fraught, Roberto.
Anything is possible, Drew. And I know Pam has her hands up, so I don't know if she has any comments on that.
Oh yeah, jump in, Pam. Go ahead.
Yeah, I don't really post-mortem on pension obligation bonds. They're not off the table. We're still moving through the process of getting certification to allow us to do address pension obligation bonds, but I'm not sure timing is right now, Drew, as you mentioned, and that's been the risk all along. So certainly a discussion around pension obligation bonds is fine, but the reason I raised my hand is there a reason that we have to have this meeting in October? Is there some agreement we have that with the city that we have an annual meeting? And the reason I raise it is that we have 3-4, I think, council members, including the mayor, who are terming out this year. And it might be more relevant and effective to have a meeting in the second quarter. Well, actually, I guess it's the fourth quarter of the fiscal year 2020, 22-23. So in between April, May, June, because we have a new council coming in. The council we have today is going away. So anything we discuss with them isn't necessarily relevant as decision makers going forward. That's just my thought. I'm one who doesn't support having meetings just because. I think the meetings need to be effective. And when you have a council that's changing as much as we are next year, including a new mayor, I think we should wait if we can. And I don't know if the bylaws dictate that we have to have it. So that's why I raised my hand.
Yeah, no, that's a good question, Pam. I know, Roberto, you've been sensitive to kind of waiting until after the election. Do you know, Roberto or Cheryl, is there a reason why we're doing that this less than a month before the election? Do you know, Roberto? Do you know, Cheryl?
Roberto, I'm happy to. Yeah, so thanks for the question, Councilmember Foley. The reason why we have these meetings is because it was an audit recommendation back from 2018 that the City Council and the 2 retirement boards should meet annually to discuss pertinent issues that relate to both the City Council and the retirement boards. Historically, we've met in the fall, as that's when we typically have more of the projections and some of the draft actuarial reports at our disposal in case those are potential agenda items that come up. However, there's nothing that says in anyone's bylaws, whether it's the municipal code or any of the governance policies for both retirement boards, that says we have to do it. However, typically when there are audit recommendations, we do like to follow those to stay up to date with what we're doing there. So that's why I've put this memo on the agenda. It's one, historic that we have it at this time, and 2, an audit recommendation. I'm happy to, in the next year for 2023, schedule it in as you said, the fourth quarter, or at least attempt to, for a study session, as there will be new council members, new council, new mayor for the next term. I don't think it hurts to have more communication in a shorter time frame. That's just my perspective. I'll leave that to the boards and council to decide. But those are the reasons why we have it now.
What do you think, Roberto? I know you've been very sensitive to this change in governance. What do you think?
Yeah, I want to echo Cheryl's words. Obviously, I think more communication is always better. Councilmember Foley is absolutely right. If there's going to be some turnover at the city council and the mayor will no longer be there after December, it kind of makes you wonder, this meeting in October, what the end result is going to be, and any kind of data or information, how helpful it's going to be to the rest of the city council that is going to be available. So, this process was sort of led by the city. So I'll just defer to Cheryl, whether it makes sense to have the meeting in October. And then I think as she suggested, maybe another meeting the following year, maybe earlier than usual. Again, having more communication is better than less. So I'm happy to take that approach. On the other hand, waiting for the new year would allow us to have the new players on board and more concrete actuarial and investment information at our fingertips to have perhaps a more meaningful discussion. Although, as Cheryl knows, as herself and myself are both included, when we have new council members and new mayor coming in, as part of the onboarding process, we do provide a short presentation on the city and the retirement office and the boards. So even though the new players will be on board, they're probably going to be a little more training, or they're probably going to need a little more time to get enough knowledge to have a meaningful participation in that discussion. So it's a long way of telling it. I'm pretty open with whatever is decided at the end of the day, so long as we continue a consistent communication and meetings on the annual basis. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
I'd be very, I see you with your hand up, Pam. I'd be very comfortable if Pam, you and Cheryl and Roberto put your heads together and figured this out. Your hand's up. Go ahead, Pam. You just jump in anytime.
Yeah, I was just going to say that, Cheryl, I appreciate that background information. I wasn't aware of the audit recommendation, and I think it's an excellent recommendation. But it seems to me that if we could do this in May, let's say, that is also when we're setting the budget. The mayor's budget comes out then, and we start, or mayor's budget comes out a little bit before that, but we're working on the budget at that point, and the council understanding the impact of pre-funding and unfunded liabilities while we're working on the budget would be really helpful. And again, we have a couple of brand new council members who are likely to be to win their elections. We have some veterans too, but then the mayor is someone who is either one of our current council members and has a good handle on the retirement funds, or it's Supervisor Chavez who established the retirement board or was involved years and years ago, but the background might be helpful for her as well. So I don't know. Again, maybe it's a shorter meeting in October. Maybe it's just, maybe it is a discussion around pension obligation bonds or something, or narrowing the discussion a little bit and not having the half day or a couple hour day that we've used to have as a joint meeting. So I'm flexible there, but again, if it seems to me it would be more effective once we have a new council, because they're going to need the education on what the retirement board is all about, and then mostly the impact on the general fund and the unfunded liabilities.
So
that's my opinion. For whatever it's worth.
That's where we're going, Dick.
Yeah, I support Council Member Foley's explanation, and I'll tell you why. You and I have had a conversation about the mayor's race in terms of not picking anybody, just saying, hey, Dick, whatever influences you have, will we continue with yourself and this very, very efficient board. And I said, by all means, whatever I can do. Pam is totally correct. When it comes to the other agency I work for, we have a certain committees that we're putting together. And since there's an election coming up, they're postponing them because it's important and a priority that the new council be educated. When it comes to retirement issues, whether it be Mr. Mahan or Cindy Chavez. Cindy Chavez was the former vice mayor, worked in this system. She also works in the PERS system now. But things have really changed in our retirement system, which is a private one. By all means, wait till you get the people who need to make the decisions to work with us.
Thanks, Dick. Well, unless the board has any objections, if I can ask Roberto, you could convene a meeting with Pam and Cheryl and yourself and see if you guys can make a consensus decision. If you can't, bring it back to the board next month. But Pam, I think what you're saying is kind of compelling. I don't want to adjudicate it here. And I know, Roberto, you and Dick and others have said, yeah, let's not insert ourselves into that election suit. Cheryl, I see you want to jump in?
Yeah, just one suggestion. If we're going to convene, the council member and Roberto and myself, I'd like also make a recommendation that Council Member Davis is included in that as the council member for non-voting member for the Federated Board. I think with both of their input, we can come up with a solution that would make sense for all parties. But I just want to make sure, as long as that's not violating any sort of Brown Act, I want to make sure that would be something that we could do so that, they can take that back to if we need to put it on a rules committee to say, hey, we're just going to bring this up as an item rather than a meeting. That would suffice. As you know, I'm from the Office of Employee Relations. I'm always reticent to go against audit recommendations or policies. So I just want to make sure that council and the boards are in agreement of how to take that on. So I'm happy to have those discussions offline.
Great.
Well said, Cheryl. Thank you. I support that.
Cheryl, you get the Fisherman Catch of the Day award.
Great.
Thank you. Does that sound okay to you? You wanted to convene and chair a meeting like that?
I'll reach out to Cheryl. We'll work it out, and then we'll reach out to both council liaisons, and we'll get back to the board. So I agree with Cheryl. Thank you.
Great. Thank you.
Board, yeah, no, good catch, Pam, and better catch by Cheryl. Anybody from the board want to weigh in? If not, we are on to the Maytac 361 show. Over to you, Maytac.
Thank you. Plot twist on the Maytac show. The city's resolution on social distancing in city facilities has lapsed due to the fact that the city council did not meet in the month of July. However, circumstances are such that the COVID-19 pandemic continues to pose a risk for meeting in person, and the governor's proclamation for the state of emergency continues to be in effect due to COVID-19. Based on the information provided to you with your backup materials, 2 factual findings under AB 361 continue to be in existence for the board to continue to meet virtually under AB 361, which are 1, the governor's proclamation for the state of emergency due to COVID-19 remains in effect. And as a result of that proclaimed state of emergency, meeting in person would present an imminent risk to the health and safety of the attendees. And with the backup materials, we have provided you the CDC's current rating for the community level for COVID-19 in Santa Clara County, which is high, presenting an imminent risk to the attendees for their health and safety. If these 2 factual findings are adopted by majority vote by this board, you may continue to meet virtually under AB 361 for the next 30 days. Thank you.
Great. Floor will entertain a motion to adopt these 2 factual findings, allowing us to meet for another 30 days virtually. Floor is open for that motion.
So move, Santos.
We've got a motion by Santos. Do I have a second?
Second, Gardner.
Got a motion by Santos, second by Gardner. Let's go around. Andrew.
Aye.
Sunita.
Aye.
David Kwan.
Aye.
Howard.
Yes.
Ishvar.
Aye.
Dick.
Yes.
Franco.
Aye.
Dave Wilson.
Aye.
I'm Chair Lanza. I vote aye as well. Everybody stick around. At the end of the meeting, we'll be back with the second running of the Maytag show. We're on to retirements. Let me read the names and then we'll entertain a motion to approve. David R. Anaya, Police Lieutenant, Police Department, effective August 6, 2022, 26.84 years service. Daniel P. Anderson, Police Officer, Police Department, effective August 20, 2022, 26.87 years of service. Man, we got some lifers here. Paulo M. Brito, Fire Engineer, Fire Department, effective August 6, 2022, 28.4 years of service with reciprocity. Corey Green, Police Officer, Police Department, effective September 3rd, 2022, 26.13 years service. Shane Ludicky, Police Officer, Police Department, effective August 20th, 2022, 26.84 years service. Jeffrey P. Riley, Fire Captain, Fire Department, effective September 4th, 2022, 26.61 years service. Randall Brian Schreifer, Police Captain, Police Department, effective August 6, 2022, 27.05 years with reciprocity. And finally, Brian J. Wong, Firefighter, Fire Department, effective July 4, 2022. Holy crap, duels. 28.92 years service. Good for you, Brian, with reciprocity. I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved by Santos.
A motion by Santos. Do I have a
Second,
second?
Votto.
I got a motion by Santos, second by Votto. Let's go around to Andrew.
Aye.
Nita.
Aye.
David.
Aye.
Howard.
Yes.
Ashvar.
Aye.
Dick.
Yes.
Go.
Aye.
Dave.
Aye.
Chair Lanza. I vote aye as well. I don't know if any of you active or retired service members want to say anything about these folks.
Of
Yeah,
course,
this is
Santos,
Wilson.
just say thank you for your service. Appreciate it.
Good, Dave.
Yeah, I just wanted to recognize the long years of service that these gentlemen put into for city service. Many of them as my friends and wish them the best in retirement and their future endeavors.
That's great. Andrew Franco, any words from you?
I just want to thank you, everybody that for their service and time they put into this into the city and to this community. Thank you.
Right.
Yeah, I just want to recognize these are a few of my caddy mates, and I wish them the best.
Wow, that's saying something, man. That's 30 years ago. Deferred vested, Lamont J. Casso, Police Sergeant, Police Department, effective August 12th, 2022, 27.97 years service with reciprocity. Entertain a motion to approve.
So move, Santos.
I got a motion by Santos to have a second.
Second, Wilson.
And a motion Santos, second Wilson. Let's go around. Andrew.
Aye.
Sunita.
Aye.
David.
Aye.
Howard.
Yes.
Ashvar.
Aye.
Dick.
Yes.
Franco. Dave.
Aye.
I am Chair Lanza. I vote aye as well. Anybody want to make any remarks?
Yeah, this is Wilson. I'll just recognize Lamont, another good friend of mine, as he continues his community service at the DA's office as a DA investigator. Congrats on finally achieving retirement with the city.
Good for him. That's great. We'll have a moment of silence after I read the death and survivorship notifications. I will note, I always read through these to learn a little bit about our members of past. I will note that one of these gentlemen joined the force when I was in 4th grade. The other one joined when I was in 8th grade. And I am a senior citizen by age. Notification of the death of Robert Hollers, police lieutenant, retired January 8th, 1992. We'd like to see 30 years of happy retirement. Died June 22nd, 2022, survivorship benefits to Valerie Hollers' spouse. And the notification of the death of Eduardo E. Medina, fire engineer, retired March 18th, 2000. Died May 7th, 2022. Survivorship benefits to Connie Medina's spouse. We'll now have a moment's silence. Great. Any of you active retirees want to say anything about either of these gentlemen?
Let the police go first and I'll go second.
Yeah, just condolences to their family. and excuse me, I'm coughing here. And to their families and friends.
Yeah, Chair
Hey.
Alonso, it's
Yeah,
always
good,
sad.
Dick.
It's always sad to hear this, but unfortunately, fortunately at the time, Eduardo Medina and his family were very good friends. They actually came to this country from Texas to Alviso, and he came on, and I knew him well, and it's very, very sad to hear because he was too young to pass away at this early time. So the best of the family. Thank you.
Thank you. Anything from you, Andrew or Dave?
Just condolences to the family. Thank you.
Investment Committee, Eshvar.
Okay, so we had a meeting in June. Two topics that we covered. One was looking at possible hedging strategies. So we had a discussion. I've continued to talk to Prabhu and the team on that. And the second was we had a review of risk related to investing in China.
Great. And let me note the board will receive and file the minutes from 4/26 and 5/5. Sunita, Audit Risk Committee.
We didn't really meet on, as far as I remember, on anything substantive other than AB 360.
I see that, Roberto, I see 7.2G here. Do we need to take any action on this?
Well, I was just actually communicating with staff. Was that Linda? I was just going to communicate with staff because it escaped me when was the last audit committee.
Yeah, I'm sorry, my memory.
I'm sorry, it was June 18th, or it was after the federated June meeting.
It was after the federated meeting. Okay, so that's why, Sunita, that's why is in here.
Oh, okay. I think I talked about this last time, so I apologize.
We didn't meet in July, so that's why we have all these items in here. You are correct. We did have a special meeting just recently in July. But in addition to that, we have all these other discussions at the audit committee level. I mean, specifically, two main things that you can take out of it, which are F and G. F was a report by our senior internal auditor on the reconciliation of contributions audit. And then, of course, the committee received the presentation by Grant Thornton on their Office of Retirement Services audit plan for fiscal year June 30th, 2022, and they approved it. So I think it's fair to say that the committee is recommending to you board to approve the audit plan by Grant coming financial audit for June 30th, 2022. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Roberto, for filling in. I'm sorry, I just call it vacation. Blank out.
It's always hard bridging July, Sunita. Don't apologize. 60 days, 90 days is a long time. Carry memory. Well, I'll move that we approve the audit plan by Grant Thornton. Is there a second?
Second by Santos.
Commissioner Lanza, second by Santos. Andrew.
Aye.
Rita.
Aye.
David.
Aye.
Howard.
Yes.
Eshvar.
Aye.
Jack.
Yes.
Franco.
Aye.
Dave.
Aye.
I'm Chair Lanza. I vote aye as well. Let me, for the record, note that we receive and file the minutes from 2/17 and 5/5. You'll see 5/5 again. Those are the minutes from the very brief AB 361 meetings on May 5th. Governance, over to you, Franco.
Mr. Chair, before we go to governance, I just want to make a side note that this is very likely will be the last audit by Grant Thornton, and staff will be coming before you board later, early in 2023, because we're going to have to issue a request for proposal for financial audit services for the 2023 year. So just wanted to keep you posted. That's what's going to happen next, probably early in 2023.
Thank you, Roberto. Governance, Franco.
Yeah, I don't believe we have anything to report.
let me note then that we receive and file again these minutes from the May 5th AB 361 meeting. Disability, Dick. Are you on mute, Dick?
I'm sorry, Drew, thank you. Our next meeting will be August 8th at 10 a.m. We have one applicant. The rest is there about the minutes and so on. Thank you.
Great. Let me note for the record again, we received and filed the minutes from May 5th, AB 361 meeting. JPC, anything to report, Andrew?
No, Mr. Chair, nothing to report.
Right.
We are trying to schedule.
Oh, sorry.
Roberto?
We are trying to schedule a meeting, a special meeting, with you and Andrew and Spencer, Trustee Chandra from Federated. So you can approve AB 361, hopefully next week, that would allow the committee to schedule then a remote meeting later in the month so we can then take the presentation by the compensation consultant, most likely the 4th week in August after the Fed meeting. But that's where we are right now.
Great, thanks, Roberto.
Thanks.
Yes, AB 361 meeting is next Wednesday at 10 a.m.
Great. We're wrapping up. Any agenda items? Any member of the public want to speak? If not, everybody stay online. We're going to adjourn this meeting and back to you, Maytac, for the second half of the Maytac show.